And the one myth that really is one of the underpinning myths of the American state is the FDR myth. And in one of my books, I quote Newt Gingrich as saying that FDR was the greatest political figure of the 20th century because he got us out of the Great Depression. And of course, that's totally wrong as far as getting us out of the Great Depression, but that's the myth. So even and Newt Gingrich said this when he was the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And so this FDR myth lives on. And as David Gordon mentioned briefly a minute ago, the reason it's a myth is even the government's official statistics show us that in 1939, the unemployment rate was still 19%. And so in 1929, the year of the stock market crash, the unemployment rate was 2.9%. And so after an entire decade of the so-called New Deal, we still had unemployment that was about 6 times higher than what the unemployment rate was going into that situation. And of course, as David said, World War II didn't get us out of the Great Depression. The number of Americans unemployed at that time was about 5 million, and the government drafted 11 million men. And so, of course, you can eliminate unemployment if you stick everybody into a foxhole somewhere in Europe. And yeah, they're not going to be looking for jobs in Chicago and California. They're in a foxhole in Germany or someplace. And not only that, but the Great Depression didn't end by World War II. But what finally did end it was the end of Roosevelt and the end of the war. At the end of the war, the government budget was reduced from 1945 to 1947 from $95 billion to about $35 billion. $35 billion. So about almost a 2/3 absolute reduction in the federal budget because of the demobilization of the military. And what that meant was the year 1946 was the most robust year for economic growth by far in all of American history. In all of American history. The private sector of the economy grew by 30% in that one year and has never grown anywhere near 15% in any other year. And this was totally the opposite of what all the Keynesians were predicting at the time, because with a massive cut in government spending, why, of course, John Maynard Keynes would have predicted another Great Depression. But no, it was the severe cutback in government. And not only that, but the anti-business, anti-capitalist Roosevelt regime was gone. What replaced it was not that much better, but it was better. And that helped a lot. But nevertheless, these are the facts. FDR never did get us. The New Deal never did get America out of the Great Depression. In fact, it made things a lot worse, especially the big government spending programs, taxing programs, the laws favoring labor unions that allowed them to push wages up during the Depression, priced even more workers out of jobs. And our friends Richard Vedder and Lowell Galloway, who wrote a book some years ago, a very good book called Out of Work, A History of Unemployment in America, they estimated with an econometric model that the New Deal programs probably made unemployment in America at least 7 or 8 percentage points higher than they otherwise would have been. So the New Deal made the Great Depression longer and more severe, is what it did.